What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Luke Innes here. I am going to be reviewing yet another horror movie for you today. A bit of a cult classic this time, one of the last of its breed. I'm going to be reviewing 1988's Maniac Cop. Maniac Cop was directed by William Lustig and it stars Bruce Campbell, Tom Atkins, Robert Z'Dar and Lauren Landon. The plot essentially sees a police officer, or at least a man dressed as a police officer, begin committing violent murders around New York City. The whole city's on high alert. Detective Frank McRae, played by Tom Atkins, believes that this could be one of the force's own. The prime suspect is Officer Jack Forrest, played by Bruce Campbell, who is charged with the murders and locked up on remand. With time, it is revealed that this could be a lot deeper and a lot more sinister than it at first appears, with the discovery of just who the killer is. Maniac Cop is very notable for being one of the last films of its kind. It's one of the last Grindhouse movies that's set in New York, and it's the New York of the 70s and 80s as well. You know, this is sort of right before the sort of transitional phase that New York would go through. It's still it's the last days of the old New York is sort of a way to think of it, I think. And Maniac Cop certainly is a relic of its time. It certainly looks back on those days and feels a little bit removed from it as it comes right from the end. So in a way, Maniac Cop almost feels like it's making a little bit of a throwback to those times. You know, this is only from 1988. It's not that long after the kind of boom of the Grindhouses in the sort of 70s, but it does feel a little bit like it's thrown back to movies like Nightmares in a Damaged Brain and that sort of thing. This is a little bit sillier than those sorts of movies though. There's a little bit more of that kind of 80s harmless horror sensibility to it. Now the main problem with Maniac Cop is that the script is not very good. They've got this story which is very strong. You know, we're kind of following this one detective who's searching within his own colleagues for who could have done this. There's a man who's in jail who's suspected, doesn't want to, you know, step forward on his alibi because, you know, his alibi would put other people into the spotlight who he doesn't want to be in the spotlight. It'd make him look bad, it'd make his, you know, and so there's this whole sort of potential for a really great script in there, but unfortunately the script isn't the best. The movie has a tendency to sort of explain things rather than to let them happen as a story. So like whenever a new character is about to be introduced, there'll be this whole thing where like, I forgot her name, the chick with the leg brace, like when she's about to be introduced, Lauren Landon and Tom Atkins have a whole discussion about her where Tom Atkins goes, "Who?" Lauren Landon explains who the character is, and then Tom Atkins goes, "Oh, okay, I know who you're talking about." Yeah, and that it all serves those kind of functions. You know, nothing feels particularly natural. It's all a little bit not very well constructed in that sense. That's something that should have really been worked on a lot harder. Despite all of that, Maniac Cop manages to be a really fun watch because it kind of gets the measure of itself a little bit. Lustig was known for a very dark film in the form of Maniac, which is a very unpleasant, grimy, quite disturbing movie, and, you know, sort of sticks out a bit like a sore thumb in horror history as one of the forgotten classics. I guess I think Maniac's a classic. Maniac Cop, not so much, although it is a highly entertaining watch. I mean, the gore is relatively infrequent. There are a couple of gore scenes, and they are quite good when they come up, it's got to be said. And like I say, from a visual point of view, the action scenes, you know, there's car chase type stuff in this, and that's all very exciting and enjoyable to watch. And in terms of the acting, I mean, from a physical point of view, you get a great performance from Bruce Campbell, who's always been a significantly better physical actor than, you know, in terms of his spoken word thing. Obviously, Bruce Campbell's got a lot of fans. I'm one of them. He was certainly in some great movies. In fact, probably a lot of movies that were better than he is as an actor. I mean, Maniac Cop, like I say, the script is really full of potential that wasn't met, and that's the great shame with Maniac Cop. You know, the script is pretty brainless. You know, there are some problems with it, some things that don't quite add up plot wise, but overall I do have to give them a thumbs up because, you know, regardless of that, they did make an entertaining movie with this. Maniac Cop is a lot of fun to watch. The blood and gore is there and it's fun. The plot is interesting enough to keep things ticking over, even though the script doesn't really kind of fulfill its potential. Like I say, it's an exciting watch. This is a film, if you want to turn your brain off and watch a movie for an hour and a half or whatever that you're going to enjoy, then you'll probably enjoy Maniac Cop. So yeah, overall, I mean, it's definitely far from a classic, but by the same token, it's not a movie that I can criticise for too much, because I do enjoy watching it. So yeah, I'm going to give Maniac Cop a 7 out of 10. Thanks very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'd love to know your thoughts on Maniac Cop. Other than that, please do check out my podcast. There's a link in the description as ever. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen.